is the anterior and posterior tab. On the anterior and posterior tab, at the top you have your CDs, if you dilate the patient, the pressures, the anterior portion of the exam, the posterior portion of the exam. Then over on the right hand side you have your diagnosis, your assessment and plan, when you want the patient to come back, and billing information. For the CD ratio, and hit tab, and that will throw the CD all the way across. The pressure will have been put in on the previous objective tab. Down below, for all the anterior and posterior, you have drop down options. You can free type. You can also click on the picture and draw an image, or forward from the last visit, or look at thumbnails. Those are the main ones you're going to use. When you double click and draw on an image, up pops this graph, and it has options available to you that include putting information in, moving it, writing words on it, drawing lines. There's all sorts of things that you can do on here. Without going into detail, I'd just advise you to click on this. It's pretty self-explanatory as to how to use the graphics on this. If you have questions, you can ask me. Any of the pictures you pick out down here below and put it on the picture, it will add it as a diagnosis, and it'll throw it over here, and it'll throw it into the diagnosis. That'll help you considerably. Then you want to save it. Notice once you save it, it throws the picture up here, and it put in here conjunctival hemorrhage from right there, so went ahead and added that. In any free gray space, you can right click and do the same thing of assigning normal values, forward from last visit, forward from last value, forward last positive. I'm going to assign normal values, and it fills in all the grid as normal. It also fills in that you dilated the patient with Paramid. If you need to change that, you can. Now on the right hand side, when you want to have the patient come back, you can click on 1 week. I really don't use these, but I'll just say 2 weeks, and it pops up an office visit to come back in 2 weeks, 6 months, a year. It'll pop it up right here for you. So now you've put in your recall. Or if you want to add one, if you want to free type it and your reason, you can do whatever you want, the date. You can do it that way too. Save. But just using these little buttons makes life a lot easier. If you're trying to decide on billing Medicare, if you need some help with that, it can help you with the medical decision-making portion of your Medicare claim. At the top here you can see it's already put in the diagnosis of conjunctival hemorrhage. It gave you the ICD code. It will put this in the patient's diagnosis, but it doesn't give an assessment or plan. So I'm going to edit this right over here to the right. It's off the screen. Edit, and I can put in my assessment, and I can put in a plan and save. So now it's in there. It is a bunch of quick diagnosis, assessment, and plan. Where RX full-time, where RX part-time, RX child, reading only, optional, glasses not needed, contact lenses no extended wear, contact lenses yes extended wear, dry eyes restasis, cataracts just monitor, cataracts referral. And so you can click on any of these and it'll give you a quick diagnosis and assessment. So I'm going to click Where RX Full Time. When I click that, pull up and zoom in, by just clicking that Where RX Full Time, what it did is it pulled up myopia because it knew the patient was myopic from the refraction we did. It puts in the ICD code, it puts in the assessment of myopia, it gives your assessment, it gives you a plan. And If you need to edit that, go into edit, click on right here, return. I usually will do caps if there's something I want to free type in here. So this is the standard assessment and plan, and this is free texting. I would read this if I were you. If you agree with it and that's what you did, then you don't have to type it. For a lot of medical insurances, they're requiring that you do some free typing to be eligible for reimbursement. So sometimes I'll go in here and I will make some editing notes and then save. And now you've got your standard assessment plan and any editing you might have done. Down here to the bottom right is for coding. And there's another video specifically just for coding. Once you're done with the exam, you want to go to sign off. When we go to the summary, you will see the myopia, the assessment, the plan, my edited description, and you'll also see the subconjunctival hemorrhage, my assessment, and plan. I want to go over just briefly the medication tab. There's a video on that for the staff, but just want you to be aware of that you do not free type in this box down here. You can't free type in this box. It's one of the few boxes you cannot free type. But I put a little warning there. You free type in the box to the right. So just make sure you take a look at that. Some doctors will try to free type, but I gave you a little warning not to do that right there. Some of the other tabs at the top are quick diagnosis tabs, which gives you a whole list of diagnoses that you can click on, and it will throw it into the plan tab. Binocular testing, which I'm not going to go into, Medicare, and PQR codes that you can use. It also, there's a GDX tab, a gonio tab, a fundus tab, and a visual field tab. And I won't go into those tabs in detail. If you want to know more about how to use those tabs, just give me a call.